Good morning everybody. In the previous video we discussed about the classification of acids on the basis of their occurrence. There are two types there, mineral acids and organic acids. Mineral acids are those acids which are obtained from mineral and they are generally strong. But there are exceptions. Carbonic acid and phosphoric acids are weak acids. And organic acids which are obtained from plants and animals are organic acids and they are weak acids. Now on the basis of their basicity, the classification of acid can be occur by on the basis of their basicity. What do you mean by basicity? Basicity means number of hydronium ion, means an acid which contains how many number of replaceable hydrogen. For example, if it is HCl, it has only one replaceable hydrogen. But if it is H2SO4, here is two replaceable hydrogen. First, it becomes in aqueous solution. First, it becomes H3O plus. If it comes with water, first H3O plus HSO4 is formed. One hydrogen replaced to form hydronium ion. And again HSO4 loses this H plus ion and again forms a H3O plus ion and SO4 2 minus ion. So there are two replaceable hydrogen. Likewise, this type of acids are called dibasic acid. So this is monobasic acid and this is dibasic acid. So basicity is the number of hydronium ion that can be produced by the ionization of an acid molecule. So on the basis of the basicity, there are three types or four types of acids. First is monobasic acid. Monobasic acid means which produces only one hydronium ion, or which has only one replaceable ion, or which has only one replaceable hydrogen ion. For example, hydroacids, all hydroacids are example of monobasic acids because these hydroacids has only one hydrogen. Another example is HNO2, nitrous acid, nitric acid, which contains only one hydrogen. So it has only one replaceable hydrogen. So these are monobasic acids. Likewise, formic acid and acetic acid. For formic acid, only this hydrogen is replaceable, and for acetic acid only this hydrogen is replaceable. So these all are examples of monobasic acids. Now come to the dibasic acid. Dibasic acids which have two replaceable hydrogen. For example, H3O, sulfuric acid, sulfurous acid, carbonic acid and phosphorus acid. These acids have two hydrogen. What about the phosphorus acid? So let's see the phosphorus acid. Phosphorus has 5 valency. So first of all, in its structure it has 5 valency. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oxygen, and here are only 3 oxygens. In H3O, H3PO4, PO3, there are only 3 oxygens. So these 3 oxygens are directly connected to the phosphorus, and another bond which is directly connected to the hydrogen here. So this 3 oxygen connected to these there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 2 replaceable hydrogen. This hydrogen and this hydrogen, which are directly connected to the oxygen. The hydrogen which is connected to the phosphorus have very strong bond. So these bonds are weak, so these phosphorus acid only has two replaceable hydrogen. This hydrogen is not replaceable hydrogens, as the bond between the phosphorus and hydrogen is very strong. So this is a dibasic acid. H3PO4 is a dibasic acid. Next is tribasic acid. As tribasic acid produces 3 hydronium ion, so the example is H3PO4. In the H3PO4, there are phosphorus with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 valencies. Each oxygen is connected directly to the phosphorus, and each oxygen is then connected to the hydrogen, and these 3 hydrogen is replaceable hydrogen. So these 3, a phosphoric acid is a tribasic. This is the complete classification of acid. On the basis of occurrence, on the basis of presence of oxygen, oxyacids, on the basis of presence of halogens, hydroacids. So these are the classification of acids. Now let's start the classification of bases. Classification of bases. Basically there are 2 types of bases, a strong base and weak base. Strong bases are water soluble bases. Water soluble bases are strong bases. The water soluble bases are called alkalis, and other bases other than alkalis, the bases are partially soluble in water. So partially soluble. And these bases are weak bases, partially soluble bases. Alkalis means group 1 elements, lithium, sodium, potassium, sodium, cesium. Alkalis are lithium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, and potassium hydroxide. Alkalis, these are called alkalis, and their oxides also. When added to the water, they form strong bases, water soluble bases. And partially soluble or weak bases are calcium hydroxide. This is the connecting link between strong base and weak base. And magnesium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is connecting, so magnesium hydroxide is weak base. Aluminum hydroxide is also weak base, and ammonium hydroxide is also a weak base. These are weak bases. So basically there are 2 classification, strong and weak. Why all alkalis are bases, but all bases are not alkalis? You know this, and you know the question. So alkalis are those bases which are water soluble, but the bases which are not completely water soluble are called weak bases, as they do not completely ionize and gives hydroxide ion, so they are called weak bases. So let's start the next topic, which is properties of acid. Or before going to the properties of acid, we must understand the indicators. What are indicators? Indicators are those substances, those chemicals. Indicators are those chemicals which identifies an acid or base according to their color, on the basis of their color change and smell change, order change, change of their odor or change of their smell. So there are basically two types of indicators. They are natural indicators and synthetic indicators. Natural indicators and synthetic indicators. The natural indicators, there are two types of natural indicators. The indicators which changes their color and the indicators which changes their smell in acid or base. So there are natural indicator and synthetic indicator. On the basis of change of color, the indicators are, the examples of these type of indicators are litmus, turmeric, there are some plant leaves like hibiscus, etc. And on the basis of the smell, the indicator is called olfactory indicator. Olfactory indicator. These indicators are of three types. Clove oil, onion, and vanilla essence. These are three olfactory indicators. Let's discuss in detail.